Imagine standing on solid ground, feeling the world beneath your feet, steady and unyielding. You trust it, don't you? The earth feels permanent, unshakable. But what if I told you that the sun, that blazing star 93 million miles away, could be stirring something deep within our planet, something powerful enough to make the ground tremble and crack? What if the quiet we've felt for years is not a sign of safety, but a warning of something massive building beneath us? Right now, a mysterious force on the sun's surface, a hole 8 times the size of Earth, is turning toward us. And it might just be the spark that sets off a catastrophic earthquake. This isn't science fiction. This is real. And the clock is ticking. Let me pull you into a story that connects the stars to the Earth in ways you might never have imagined. For over 3 years, the ground has been eerily still. Since August 2021, we haven't felt a single earthquake above magnitude 8, a silence that's lasted longer than any in recent history. Normally, we'd expect at least one of these monster quakes every year, shaking cities, reshaping coastlines, and reminding us how fragile our world can be. But this drought, this long pause, isn't a relief. It's a red flag. The Earth is like a coiled spring, storing energy in its fault lines, waiting for the moment to release. And now scientists are seeing signs that the sun, of all things, might be the trigger to set it free. You might be wondering, how could the sun, so far away, have anything to do with earthquakes? It sounds impossible, like something out of a wild theory. But let's step back and look at the evidence, because the story unfolding is both fascinating and chilling. Right now, on the sun's surface, there's a massive feature called a coronal hole. Picture it, a dark, gaping void, sprawling across nearly a quarter of the sun's visible disk, so large it could swallow our planet 8 times over. This isn't a one-time event. Since October 2024, this hole has been circling the sun every 28 days, growing bigger with each rotation. Now, in its 8th lap, it's bigger and more ominous than ever. And soon it will face Earth directly, bathing our planet in its strange, invisible influence for 7 long days. Why does this matter? Because this coronal hole isn't just a curiosity, it's a potential catalyst for disaster. Scientists have noticed a pattern, one that's hard to ignore. When coronal holes like this one face Earth, they send out streams of solar wind, fast-moving particles that slam into our planet's magnetic field. These streams are different from the usual solar wind. They're faster, sometimes racing at over 650 kilometers per second, and they're thin, with far fewer particles than normal. It's like a ghostly breeze from space, almost empty but incredibly powerful. And when this breeze hits Earth, it does something strange. It creates a kind of pressure difference, a pull that might reach deep into our planet's core. Let's dive into what happened in the past to understand why this is so alarming. Think back to March 2011, when Japan was struck by a magnitude 9.1 earthquake, one of the most devastating in history. It unleashed a tsunami that claimed thousands of lives and triggered the Fukushima disaster. In the days before that quake, satellites captured images of the sun. And guess what they saw? A coronal hole, eerily similar to the one we're watching now, was staring straight at Earth. It was massive, positioned just like today's hole, and it appeared during a peak in the sun's activity cycle, just like now. The parallels are striking, almost like the sun was sending a warning we didn't yet know how to read. More recently, on March 28, 2025, a magnitude 7.7 earthquake shook Myanmar. It wasn't a standalone event. It set off a chain reaction, a global seismic burst, with 3 more quakes above magnitude 6 hitting different parts of the world within hours. And what was happening on the sun? That same coronal hole, on its 7th rotation, was facing Earth. The timing wasn't a coincidence. Scientists are starting to see a pattern. When these coronal holes align with our planet, the Earth seems to respond, as if the sun is tugging at its strings. So, what's going on here? How can something in space make the ground shake? The answer lies in a hidden side of our planet, one we're only beginning to understand. Earth isn't just a ball of rock. It's alive with energy, crackling with forces we can't see. Deep inside, there's evidence of something extraordinary, a natural nuclear reactor in the planet's core. Yes, you heard that right. Scientists believe that uranium, one of the densest elements, sank to the center of Earth billions of years ago, forming a core that generates heat and charged particles, plasma, through nuclear fission. This isn't a wild idea. It's backed by the mysterious helium gas that seeps from deep within the Earth, a byproduct of those nuclear reactions. Now, imagine this plasma, this charged energy, moving through the Earth's interior. When a coronal hole's solar wind hits, with its ultra-low density, it creates a kind of vacuum effect, pulling that plasma toward the surface. If that plasma crosses a fault line, a crack in the Earth where tectonic plates are locked, straining against each other, it can change everything. The charged particles can break the molecular bonds holding the fault together, like loosening a knot. Suddenly, the fault slips, the stored energy releases, and the ground shakes. It's as if the sun is reaching down, nudging the Earth to let go of its pent-up fury. This isn't just a theory, it's supported by what we've seen. Before major earthquakes, strange things happen. The ionosphere, high above us, starts to waver, its electron content shifting in ways we can measure. Radio signals like the Schumann resonances that hum through the atmosphere show odd patterns days or even weeks before a big quake. And then there are earthquake lights, those eerie glows reported during the biggest seismic events. Could these be flashes of plasma escaping through the fracturing crust? The evidence is piling up, and it's painting a picture of a planet deeply connected to the cosmos. Right now, we're in a moment of heightened risk. The sun is in its solar maximum, a phase where it's more active, sending out more energy than usual. Just days ago, a powerful geomagnetic storm swept over Earth, rattling our magnetic field. That storm, combined with this massive coronal hole, could be priming the planet for something big. The hole is about to face us again, starting around April 22nd, 2025, and its influence will linger for a week. If history is any guide, this could be the trigger we've been dreading, the spark that sets off a magnitude 8 or greater earthquake somewhere along the volatile fault lines of the world. Picture yourself standing on a cliff overlooking the Pacific Ocean, the waves crashing below, the ground beneath you seeming so solid, so eternal. But deep beneath your feet, forces are at work, forces that stretch from the Earth's molten core to the far reaches of space. The sun, that fiery giant we take for granted, is whispering to our planet in ways we're only beginning to understand. And right now, its message feels urgent, like a warning we can't afford to ignore. That massive coronal hole, 8 times the size of Earth, is spinning closer to facing us, and it's carrying a power that could shake the ground we stand on. Let's dive deeper into this story, because the clues are all around us, and they're telling us to pay attention. The Earth has been holding its breath for over 3 years, with no magnitude 8 or greater earthquake since August 2021. That's not just a curious fact. It's a signal that the planet's fault lines are under immense pressure, like a dam holding back a flood. Scientists know that energy doesn't just disappear, it builds, waiting for the right moment to break free. And the sun, with its strange and powerful coronal holes, might be the key that unlocks it. These holes aren't just patches of darkness on the sun's surface. They're gateways, places where the sun's magnetic field opens up, letting streams of charged particles race into space at incredible speeds. When these streams hit Earth, They don't just bounce off. They interact with our planet in ways that could reach deep into its core. Let's talk about what makes these coronal holes so special and so dangerous. Normally, the solar wind that flows from the sun is steady, carrying a predictable number of particles, about 5 to 10 per cubic centimeter. But when a coronal hole faces Earth, it sends out a different kind of wind, faster, thinner, almost ghostly. The speed can soar past 650 kilometers per second, and the particle density can drop to a mere zero point 0.1 per cubic centimeter. It's like the difference between a gentle breeze and a howling gust that feels strangely empty. This creates what scientists call an osmotic gradient, a kind of pull between the sparse space around Earth and the denser, charged environment inside it. Imagine a vacuum cleaner in space, tugging at the plasma deep within our planet, drawing it upward through cracks and faults. This idea might sound strange, but it's grounded in evidence we can't ignore. When we look back at the biggest earthquakes like the 2011 Japan quake that reshaped lives and landscapes, we see this pattern again and again. Days before that magnitude 9.1 disaster, a coronal hole was perfectly aligned with Earth, sending out those high-speed, low-density streams. The same thing happened with the Myanmar quake in March 2025, when our current coronal hole, on its seventh rotation, seemed to nudge the Earth into a global seismic burst. 3 other quakes above magnitude 6 followed within hours, as if the planet was responding to a cosmic signal. These aren't isolated events. They're part of a bigger picture, one that connects the sun's restless energy to the Earth's restless crust. But how does this actually work? Let's go deeper into the Earth itself, because it's not just a ball of rock. It's a living, dynamic system. Scientists have found evidence that the Earth's core might be home to a natural nuclear reactor, a place where uranium and other heavy elements, gathered during the planet's formation, are undergoing fission. This process creates heat, but it also produces plasma, charged particles that flow like an electric current through the Earth's interior. We see hints of this in the helium gas that seeps from deep underground, a gas that shouldn't be there in such quantities unless something like a reactor is at work. This plasma moving through the Earth could be the key to why solar winds have such a dramatic effect. When those high-speed, low-density solar winds hit, they create a kind of pressure difference, pulling that internal plasma toward the surface. If it crosses a fault line, a place where tectonic plates are locked, straining against each other, it can act like a lubricant, breaking the bonds that hold the fault together. Imagine 2 massive slabs of rock grinding against each other, held in place by friction. Now, picture a surge of charged particles slipping between them, weakening that grip. The fault slips, the energy releases, and the Earth shakes. This isn't just a theory. It's backed by what we see before big quakes, strange lights in the sky, odd radio signals, and disturbances in the ionosphere, all pointing to plasma moving through the Earth. These signs are like whispers from the planet, warning us of what's coming. Before major earthquakes, people have reported glowing lights in the sky, a phenomenon called earthquake lights. They're rare, seen mostly during the biggest quakes, and they might be the visible spark of plasma escaping through the fracturing crust. Then there are the electromagnetic signals, radio waves that spike days or weeks before a quake, and changes in the Schumann resonances, the Earth's natural hum. The 2011 Japan quake sent a pulse through the ionosphere, a ripple of energy we could measure from space. These aren't random. They're clues that the Earth and the Sun are locked in a cosmic dance, one that can turn deadly. Right now, that dance feels more intense than ever. We're in the peak of the Sun's activity cycle, a time when it's throwing out more energy, more X-rays, more everything. The ionosphere is buzzing, charged with 1,000 times more energy than during quieter times. Add to that a recent geomagnetic storm, a surge of solar energy that shook our planet's magnetic field just days ago. And now this massive coronal hole, growing larger with each rotation, is about to face us again, starting around April 22nd, 2025. Its influence will linger for a week, creating the kind of conditions that have triggered the biggest quakes in history. The Earth is primed, its faults loaded with energy, and the Sun might just be the spark that sets it all in motion. The Earth is holding its breath, and the Sun is about to speak, as we stand on the edge of a critical moment, with a massive coronal hole turning toward us around April 22nd, 2025. The stakes feel higher than ever. This isn't just about science, it's about our lives, our homes, the ground we trust to hold us. The Pacific's Ring of Fire, where 90% of earthquakes strike, is a ticking time bomb. Japan, Alaska, Chile, and the Cascadia region, silent for centuries, are primed for a monster quake. The sun's strange winds pulling at the Earth's core could be the spark that sets it free. We're not helpless, though. Science is giving us eyes in the sky. Satellites like the Solar Dynamics Observatory track the sun's every move, while others measure the solar wind's eerie thinness. Ground stations catch the Earth's electromagnetic whispers, signals that spike before quakes. These tools are weaving a new story, one where the sun and Earth are intertwined, where plasma flows from deep within our planet to meet the cosmos. This isn't the old view of earthquakes as mere rock and stress. It's a dance of energy, electric and alive. What can we do? If you live where the Earth shakes, prepare now. Keep supplies ready, secure your home, know your escape routes. If you're near the coast, learn the tsunami warnings. These steps aren't just caution, they're lifelines. But beyond that, this moment is a chance to marvel at our world's hidden connections. The sun, 93 million miles away, might be nudging the ground beneath us, and we're learning to listen. This isn't just a warning. It's a call to see our planet anew, alive with forces we're only beginning to grasp. As the coronal hole's shadow looms, we're part of a real-time experiment, testing a bold idea, that the sun could trigger the Earth's fury. If it holds true, we're on the cusp of revolutionizing how we predict quakes, saving lives with warnings born from space. Share this with those in shaky places. Awareness is power. The Earth is restless, the sun is whispering, and we're all part of this cosmic story. Let's be ready, not just for what might come, but for the wonder of understanding our world a little better. The ground may shake, but together we stand stronger.